Does anyone have a question?
I have a question, Stuart. Jason.
Yes.
I'm wondering, are there different kinds of Kundalini uh, activation?
You're wondering if there are what?
Different kinds of Kundalini, different levels of Kundalini.
Uh, what do you mean? Or
Uh, like if there's more subtle awakenings, or if there are uh, more intense ones.
uh, look, Kundalini is a very powerful force, and it's a very subtle force that when it's activated, it truly becomes a pathway to God. On that pathway, there are many obvious things, there are many subtle things, there are all kinds of experiences that one would have as the energy moves from the base of the spine to the crown chakra. So Kundalini is like an all-encompassing type of guide. And it really is the pathway that a spiritual person takes to get their enlightenment. On that pathway, we're all different. We all have unique karmas. We all are different people. We have different experiences, and we will have different experiences. Some of them will be like an atomic bomb going off inside you. Others will be more subtle. Uh, and actually, the more I talk about it, none of this really matters. It really doesn't matter. What matters is, have you built the system inside that can support the activation of Kundalini? And if that system is strong enough to support the activation of Kundalini, it will give you every experience you need to become an enlightened person. It will open the crown chakra. It'll allow your soul to move through the cosmos, experience higher energy, arrive at a place that's outside of time and space, and attain a state of enlightenment. And it's going to be different for every human being because every human being's soul is in a different state of evolution. Mm. And you will experience according to what you're ready to experience. So I'm not sure what the answer is to your question. I'm not sure it even matters, if they're subtle, not so subtle. What matters is you build an inner life that is strong enough to activate Kundalini. And then trust that Kundalini will take you to a place where you will attain a state of enlightenment. That's to me the only thing that matters. Whether it's subtle, not so subtle, whether explosions, this, that, yeah. I mean, it's all the drama, and it really doesn't amount to anything. What amounts to a lot is having that kind of an inner life, having a strong chakra system, having chi, having power inside yourself that can not only activate Kundalini, but gives you the strength to be able to work out your karma. So you have Kundalini, you have your karma, you have spiritual energy coming down. All of that needs deep inner strength. And that to me is the single most important thing. And the rest of it we experience according to what our karma is, according to who we are and the individual nature of who we are. And none of that works unless you do develop the kind of system inside yourself that really is strong enough to sustain an active force of Kundalini. Kundalini is too powerful for the ordinary person to deal with. It's a very powerful force. Life is too powerful for people that live in mediocrity to deal with. It's a very powerful force. Spirit is too powerful for people that don't work on themselves to deal with. It's a very powerful force. All three of these energies need a strong inner life. And it's mastering of these three energies that brings about a state of enlightenment. And whether it's through subtle or not so subtle, or, I mean, I don't know, Rudy used to touch me on the forehead, I would bounce across the room. Some people, in the retreat yesterday were bouncing across the room. Other people, it's more subtle and it's quieter, and, everybody's a little bit different. And I'll repeat it for the last time. The important thing is the development of a chakra system that's strong enough to do three things: activate Kundalini, work out your karma, and to be a receptacle for spiritual energy, which is the fuel that you need in your tank to do all of this. And that's one's responsibility. That's one's clear responsibility. An agreement you make with God that you were born here to do this kind of thing, not to piss away 60 years of one's life and come back and try it again and again and again and again until one finally learns why they come to the earth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So don't get involved in subtle nature of Kundalini. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just bullshit. Just build your inner life. Let God bring to you what you need to grow in your life. It's not going to happen if you don't develop a strong inner life. I mean, people can pretend, in ashrams, everybody is sweet and sugary, and until something happens where everybody's at each other's throats. That's not what I'm talking about, not that kind of sweetness. One that comes from a profound inner awakening and is really unconditional love, comes from the spirit that comes into their system, nurtures them and builds them, and then they interact with the rest of the human race with compassion, with love, with happiness, with joy. Life itself becomes sacred. Life itself and karma itself becomes sacred. Kundalini becomes sacred. Spirit, Shakti, killing us, nurturing us, is sacred. Does anyone else have a question? You all are sacred. I mean that. Look, your presence here, the work you do on yourselves, your support for what I try to do, is something to me that's very sacred, and I respect it from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, frankly. But I do know I work on myself. I mean, this is my third class today. That people spend time here, and I set up classes for them to come to today. And you have a job and you have to do it. You have no recourse in that. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
I thought so. What's the question?
As as a perpetual student, how do I confirm that I am building my chemistry correctly, especially in the chaotic world that we're experiencing now?
You just asked me, Bob, and I'll tell you. I really mean it. Bob, look, for the 80th time. In the last year or two, you have grown more than in all the years I've known you. Your whole inner life has changed. The way you interact with me and the world has changed. And I have nothing but respect for that. It's fantastic how much you've grown. You went through a very hard time with your eyes and all that stuff, but it just made you a stronger person. And it, it's always when you go through these difficulties that you realize how finite life is, and how important it is to truly connect with spirit and to do it in a real and deep way. And you're doing it, Bob. God bless you. And if you don't see it, I see it. Okay. Because we're usually the last person that sees it about ourselves. We see it about everybody else. We're always 6 months behind ourselves, and you've grown enormously, Bob. And I just love it. And look, I've known you, my God, I've known you longer than I've known my own daughter, for a really long time. And I remember Bob Sink running the kitchen, Denton, Texas. My God. It was very difficult. And today there's a sweetness, there's love, there's a whole different level of maturity in you that I just am grateful for, Bob.
So I am asking, what are my next steps to improve and deepen that
Just
that
continue
level?
doing what you're doing, Bob. It works. Do what you're doing. It works. You're growing. And have patience with you. And understand, I said it, you're always 6 months behind yourself. You grow and your mind still lingers a little bit in the past. And it's just letting go, letting go, letting go. And you're doing it.
So I'm hearing you say that each and every one of us that is studying here should be asking this question: what can I do next? Yes?
Yes. I can tell you what you can do next. Just keep doing what you're doing. Why interfere with something that works? It really works. Keep doing what you're doing. You're growing beautifully, Bob. You're a totally different person, for God's sake. And each person here would probably get a little different answer. I mean that, you know. People are told to get off their ass, grow up, stop the bullshit. That is stuff I used to tell you years ago. I mean, everybody's different. I mean, I saw somebody last weekend go through such a profound transformation. And this person I have known for a really long time. I won't go into the history of this person, but man, for a really long time, I've known this person. And this weekend, in this retreat, I never saw anybody change so much. It was extraordinary to see the change that took place.
So, Stuart, I also know that after retreats, it's how easy it is to slip back. So, could you talk about this sustaining deep levels of growth?
Well, you have to change a lot of the things you do. You have to conserve energy. You have to get maybe a little more rest after a retreat. You have to do nothing that really creates drama in your life. And if other people create it, you understand, you got to be able to say, no, I can't afford this now. And then you have to truly ingest everything that comes into you and let it find a home and let it really transform you inside. Look, the real test of a retreat is not Saturday and Sunday. I say this all the time. The real test of a retreat is on Thursday, following Thursday, Wednesday. Understand, when you have to deal with an unconscious world, and does it rip out everything you got over the weekend? Or have you conserved everything and built a system that enables you to interact with this unconscious world and still sustain everything, or if not everything, maybe 80% of what you got over the weekend? That's the responsibility. I mean, I basically did nothing today except rest and have meditation classes, because I know I need that. It was so powerful last weekend that I need my system to ingest everything. And I don't want to lose it. Getting into all kinds of dramas about money and relationships and this and that. It's not worth it. So you have to take time and to just take a few steps back and just allow your system to absorb. And it's even one of these classes, you got to do I always suggest people after a class like this, go lie down for 20 minutes and let the energy really absorb inside you. Instead of, well, now I'm going to go, whatever. I got 6 business deals to do now. I go fight with my wife now about what happened yesterday. Don't lie down for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Let the energy just absorb inside. Just listen to your breathing and do a little so-hum exercise. Let the energy absorb. And if somebody is waiting for you, they can wait 20 minutes. You're not going to lose a friend because you're 20 minutes late for some appointment. That's what I suggest. And I think it's a pretty good suggestion. I do it myself. I'll say it again, the real test of a retreat is not the retreat. The energy is so powerful there that everybody is like centered. The real test is Wednesday, Thursday of the following week, when you got to interact with a world that isn't so terribly conscious. They don't give a shit about retreats, meditation, spirit. I don't want to hear about that nonsense. People tell you, how you interact. Are you centered enough that none of it bothers you? And are conscious of what you're doing and how it's helping you in your life. And you want to conserve every ounce of energy that you can conserve of it. I used to say, the real test of an ashram are not the people that live in the ashram. It's the people that leave. How they leave, what they leave with. Do they continue to do God's work in the world, or do they leave angry and upset and bitter at the teacher, or the people, all that drama that takes place? Or do they leave truly having learned what they were there to learn and becoming, a kind of servant of God in the world? Maybe not even doing Kundalini yoga, but having arrived at a place in themselves where they can interact with the rest of the world consciously. So it's not the people that stay, it's the people that leave. What do they leave with? Does anyone else have a question? Anyone? Okay, thank you, all of you. God bless you all. There'll be meditation on Wednesday. And looking forward to seeing everybody. So thank you. God bless you. And understand, like, just finally, this work is changing now. It's really changing. And, you know, you're going to have to work really deeply on yourself to keep up with the changes that are taking place now. It's profound. I feel it. I'm just not the same person I was 2 weeks ago. You know, and I have to teach from whatever level I interact with Shakti with, and it's a whole different me. So please do your work. Try to get the most you can out of this. I know it's not easy on Zoom. When people do in-person classes, it's kind of extraordinary. I tell you, it's extraordinary. So, but this is what we have. This is the venue. People are here from all over the world, you know, that attend these classes. So, and let's make the best of it and understand that they are going to change. I am going to change. I'm not the person I was 2-3 weeks ago. It's a different person that's here. So God bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. So have a wonderful evening.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night, Stuart. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you.